Good morning, everybody. This is Stacy Turner with our DMOpro Zoom, and I thought we would continue with our discussion with our new Juice Plus, U plus Juice Plus app. And I'm curious to hear how you guys used it this week. How did you find it helpful? Did you send links? I have to admit, I sent a link for somebody and totally forgot to go through the app because then it would have been trackable, and it was a cart for a healthy start. So then I was like, is that a thing through the app? I don't know. So I thought maybe that's something that we could explore. Like, how do you send a cart through that? Or is it just a link to the website? I wasn't even sure on that. So I didn't even think about it till later because, we've gotten into a routine now of using the website, and I just didn't even think about the app. So I would love to hear from you guys. Remember, I just muted everyone. So unmute, tell us this week, were you able to use the app? Did you spend some time in there? What did that look like?
At the very beginning, I sent a quick link to somebody, and the thing that I wasn't thinking about is Nikki, my direct upline, was like, "Oh, super cool that you're using the app." So she knew that I had used it, and
Hmm.
which was really neat. It's just kind of an accountability follow-up thing. So that was my big thing at the beginning of the week.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that either, that we'd be able to see what our team is doing with it. We'll have to see if we can figure out where that's at in there. Lisa?
I used it and I like it. Um, I love the tracking. That's what I'm really impressed with. And I did get some things in the feed. I did realize, like a dummy, that I didn't think about that I had downloaded all my contacts and that anytime I put in new, like so I put in like three new people this week and was sending them stuff and I'm like, why aren't they coming up? Then I realized all of a sudden yesterday that I needed to put them in that system because they're in my phone, but they're not in the system yet. And I don't want to download every week because I've been taking contacts out that I don't want in there, like my car wash or, things like that that I don't want in there. So I don't really want to keep downloading. The other thing I was curious about, and I poked in there to see, like, I was looking for things. I have a couple of pregnant people, like three. So I was looking for like that Casey slosh, but I don't think those are in there. So that's what I was curious if it's just me. I put them in this bar up there looking for some things, or there was like a couple of athletes I keep thinking of that I want to send stuff. So, but I want the tracking. That's why I'm really excited about that. But I don't think those are in there yet. So I was just curious if I'm the only one.
Yeah, that's a good question, Lisa. I know they've said that kind of the field-led stuff I think is going to stay in boards. That what is from corporate will be in the app. So it'll be more professional looking pictures. Kind of think about like what they post on Facebook, like what corporate posts. I think that's more of what that's going to be. The videos that they produce, and then unless I'm wrong. Has anyone heard anything else? Yeah, and that's why I think having boards is important because we still get the content that is, I think, more relational and educational versus branded marketing. I think that's kind of more of what we'll get. And maybe corporate will start to move towards that, but you got to think about they are from a corporate side, they're branding a product. And so it has to be um like yeah, they're branding like the product name instead of what we would be marketing would be more of the relational, the stories, the content that has to do more with transformations, that sort of thing. So I think that's going to still stay in boards. But I think that will help the leaders that are organizing the boards of not having to put the corporates, keep up with the corporate stuff. Like we'll know to go to the app for the corporate pictures and things like that. Patty, anything else?
I had a situation. Typical jump the gun before we did the training. And I kind of did what Lisa did. I limited my contacts and then I couldn't figure out how to get more contacts. So Nicole Thomas walked me through. She did a really easy video. I just had some things turned off on once I limited my contacts, I couldn't, add anybody. And so anyway, she sent me a video that she did a video of how to do it. So I'll post that on our DMO chat.
Something else that came up with one of our partners, she kept saying that her app, like her phone wouldn't let her download the app that her debit card needed updated. And I was like, what does that have to do anything? Because you're not paying anything in the app. But there is like in-purchase apps, not with ours, but with other ones that your debit card is connected to. And so it was more with like the phone company, if you will, or with Apple apps. I'm not sure. But once she got that debit card number updated, because it was a one that had to be replaced, then she was able to download it, even though there's not anything that has to do with purchases in the app. So it really was a thing because I kept thinking, like, what does that have to do with anything? But it was. So if you're one of your team members come up with that. Anyone else use the app this week that you guys want to share how it went?
Hi, Stacy. I just wanted to share I did use it this week and a couple things. So I sent it to a friend, but old customer, and I got notification that she did open it right away, which was great. But I sent it was more of a personal message because I know her, and then when I click the AI, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll shorten it, but it like erased my whole message and came up with just like a generic one. I'm like, oh shoot. So I probably should have copied and pasted, but so I had to redo it. But I thought, oh darn it, that's good to know. Um, and then you guys had mentioned a pregnancy video. I just shared a really good one. It's optimal pregnancy nutrition. It's longer, but it's phenomenal. I'll share it in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I would love that too. That's great. Uh,
I kind of am still exploring because I like to know what I'm doing before I actually send things. And I went into the one on the computer, the U plus
mhm.
Juice Plus. And what I noticed is the contacts didn't not all of them downloaded. So does anybody know anything about getting all of them that are on your app
I
into
just
the one?
mentioned that. I'll post it in our chat,
Oh, okay.
in the Boxer chat. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Joy.
So I used it for follow-up, used it and it was kind of fun because some people did watch the video, and one lady was having her nails done and said, I can't watch the video right now, but I really appreciated the fact sheet. So she was looking at that with the super biome. And then most of the other ones did open it, but then you have those customers that just they're hard to get a hold of. They're always hard. So I did share I did the whole truth video with them just to see if they would even look at it. And they didn't. So I figured out I've done my job though, but you
Yeah.
know, it is fun. So we'll see.
Bernadette, tell us how you got into the conversation with the gal that was getting her nails done.
Oh, well, I just let her know that her order was due. It was just a follow-up. And she was there with her mom, who is also on Juice Plus. And she said, this is great. She said, I will look at it, but she was able to she said, I can't play the video because I'm getting my nails done, but I read the fact sheet. So that's how that happened.
So she orders something else and you were sharing the super biome with her?
Right, right.
Okay, very
So
good.
she said she would definitely look at it. And I haven't seen her watch the video yet. So I'll follow up, just to see what she thought of it. Because she's a nurse friend of mine. So it's always nice to get their opinion,
Yeah, yeah,
you
that's
know.
a great one to ask for
Yeah.
their opinion.
I
Did
have one
you?
other thing that I wanted to just
Okay,
share that
yeah,
I
go ahead.
did. There was a sideline that was asking me for some reason. I don't know why she asked me, but she wanted to know why, what about the taxanthin or something in superfoods, and I was like, oh gosh, I better see what that ingredient is. So I looked on superfoods, and sure enough, it was, the very last ingredient. And so I went into our app and went into the information about the ingredients. You can also find it in the hub too, but I showed her that you can find these things in, the hub. And so her client or her customer um, bought the superfoods because of having that information, because she's real crunchy, a crunchy mom that really likes to look at all those ingredients. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, to refer them back. And I did the same thing, Joy. One of my gals said, how do I download all of the contacts? And I said, look for the training videos, and there's a video in there that shows you how to do it. And she was like, oh, okay. So I didn't have to like step by step walk her through it. It was already a video training there. So I loved that. It was easy to send them back to the resources that are there. So that's really good. I didn't know about the extensive ingredient um,
Yeah,
content.
it
Great.
really was quite interesting. When I
Yeah.
looked at it, I was like, oh, okay.
What did you
They're getting
learn?
the astaxanthin from, algae in the superfood. So I was like, oh, I learned something too. So
Yeah,
anyway.
that's great. Anyone else?
I have a question. So on the app, when you go to videos, it just lists like 6 videos, and the one with the bridging the gap kind of is an overall video, but and then when you go to the specifics with the different products, they're more very kind of hype short videos. Are they going to be, having any more that kind of give the depth of the whole big picture?
So
Or do we just use boards for that?
I think what you're asking, Andy, you're kind of seeing that it's kind of like a commercial, right? The videos that Juice Plus
Right.
puts out feels more of like a commercial. And I think that that's probably the content we're going to see through the corporate side. Um,
Okay.
they're marketing the brand, and then it's, we market Juice Plus very different than they do. So,
Mhm.
like I said, we're more on the experience, the results, kind of more the
Education,
relational side.
right.
Yeah. Maybe they will eventually. I mean, I still use that Bridging the Gap video. I think that's probably my favorite one. Um, I'm meeting with a gal today that it's just, further example of like how much we just need to be in front of people and get out of my office and into into people's spaces. But there was all of the employees that have my husband's employees, they went to, it was like a magic show, illusionist that was here in our small town at the theater. And so we all went to that as a group, and then we went to dinner. And I sat next to one of the gals. Her and her husband have come to a health event that I've done before. They ended up being the only ones that showed up. So I did like full presentation anyway because they needed this information, but they didn't order. She has heard of it before. She's a hygienist. She has spoken in hygiene conferences. She was like one of the speakers. She would be fabulous with this, and she has her own business and a ton of contacts, and she's very familiar with Juice Plus, even took it at one time. But he has had some different health issues that have come up since then. And so I was like, that's it. I'm talking to her again about it. So I brought it back up into conversation, and she's like, I know, like I am interested. I love Juice Plus, but um it's just the expense of it. After she just told me of their $4,000 emergency room visit because she had the flu in January. And I was like, well, you know what is also expensive? Like, so is illness. Like, and so we just talked about it. And I said, let's go to lunch. Like, let's just talk things through. But I can show you how you can get your own Juice Plus paid for, and it won't even come out of your family's budget. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I don't pay for my Juice Plus out of our family's budget. I pay for it out of my Juice Plus check. And it didn't take me very long, just a couple of months to be able to do that. I can help you with that. And she was like, okay, maybe I should look at it again. So we're going to lunch today if all goes well and works out schedule wise. So it was just, again, I can send videos. I can, you know, remind them. I can talk about, have you watched the video? Have you watched the video? Have you watched the video? That sort of thing. But timing changes everything, right? Somebody else's life, something comes up in their life and they have a stronger need. And then just face to face and how important that is. You can get so much more done in that conversation. And I really want her to come to conference. And then I have another gal that's a customer of mine that I really want her to come to conference. That's going to be my focus this week. And so I can get overwhelmed with trying to find a way to bring back customers that I've lost, because they had to cancel it. They just aren't reordering again, which is so odd to me. Like they were on Juice Plus for years, and to get that order back in has just been a struggle. And that's not fun. Like it feels very daunting and it's just kind of draining, but the new conversations are fun. And so that's what I'm just going to be working on. Bernadette, you had something you wanted to share?
Yeah, remember last week we went through the products, and then if you go on Super Biome, this is for Angie, and if you scroll way down after you say see all, there's more videos, and it's like one is Jamie Kinsey on the Super Biome, the launch of the Super Biome, then the panel and the doctors talking. And so there's more. Remember, we looked at that last week, and I didn't look at the superfoods to see. But I bet there's more videos there, I hope. No, there's only 4 videos on those. But they were good videos to share too, because it talks about the research and, more in depth. So I just thought I'd share that with Angie.
Can you say that again, how you got to that?
Well, you click on the superfood when you're on your, the super biome. Do you see where you scroll down and you see the product? It says super biome.
And then see all, correct?
Uh-huh. And once you click see all, you'll get more videos. At the very bottom, you have to scroll way down. But now I have to go on the others and see if it's the same. No, there's not on any of our.
Can I say one thing? Do you
Yes.
have an iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been told by like a partner of mine that does not have an iPhone that the display is totally different on her phone from an iPhone.
Oh.
And even the names, like instead of it saying images, it says asset, which that was kind of upsetting to her. So I just told her to, you know, I don't want to be too critical of IT and what they've given us because I think it's incredible because I've been around for a longer time and this is a brand new partner. So I just told her, go ahead and, comment on that. But I just thought I would bring that up while you're looking.
Yeah, does anybody else have not an iPhone that it looks different from you? So she's saying instead of it says assets. So I'm curious if anyone else has that. Lisa, did you want to add something?
Hi, I wanted to ask a question now. I hope I didn't forget it. Um, oh my Lord, what was it? You said, so, oh, I know what I wanted to ask. You mentioned you got back into a conversation, and that's something I've been struggling with. So I'm curious, how did you get back into that conversation with that person, your customer, past customer, or other people that you've talked to, and they just haven't responded? Like, how did you come back to that?
Yeah, so I specifically sat by her at dinner. So I was strategic about that, right? She was the first one in the group that I spoke to and just asked her about life and everything. And then we went to the show. And then afterwards at dinner, I sat beside her. And so her husband has had some issues with his eyes. And I just asked her about that. I was like, so what's going on with Brad's eye? Jarrett was saying you guys went to Lubbock again, and like, what's going on with that? So then I was just asking questions, and he had had some shot in his eye, and then that didn't work. And so we were talking, and I asked, is he diabetic or pre-diabetic? And she said, yeah, he is diabetic. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm helping you guys. Like, so we, we had built some more rapport that day, and I've talked with her a couple of times, and I was um, like, is that a new diagnosis? I don't think so, right? Like that's come back around, and so, and then I just said, have you guys considered? Well, she talked about, I was asking about grandkids. I was just asking a lot of questions, right? Like I'm just trying to gather information. She talked about her getting sick this winter and how bad that was. And she had a $4,000 bill. And so we were talking through all that. And then at some point, I think I just said, I would really like to help you guys and help Brad. I did ask, did the ophthalmologist talk about an omega for his eyes? And she was like, no. And I said, well, a lot of times they will encourage an omega because it helps reduce inflammation. And in fact, overall, I think that would be helpful to him. And I have some really great information. We have a metabolic study with Juice Plus. So I know she's into the science. Then we talked about the dental studies again, and we just kind of kept the conversation going. But yeah, finding the need, asking the questions and what's going to be information that's going to fit her specifically versus what like I think she would want to know, I think is important in any conversation. Gwen, your hand is up, but you're muted if you're still wanting to ask a question.
No, I was just trying to help you guys with the Android view. And so I was
Okay.
looking at that right there because I have an Android. So I'm sitting in my sauna. I'm not turning on the camera.
Okay.
Um,
Does it look different for you?
so let me see. When I pull up like the super biome, I see where it says websites underneath and a link. And then I have to click more and I get a description and that's it.
What about on your homepage, where it says like, let's just say videos and social?
Okay, first I see shopping links, promotions and videos and social. Okay. It says
Yeah.
video. I don't have any more than two though. Oh wait, maybe I do. Okay, here we go. All video. And I only have 6.
6. Okay. And back on the homepage, it sounds like your titles are the same, videos and social, training videos, digital guides.
Yeah, I have shopping links, promotions, video, training guides, opportunities, new partners, partner stories, and then down at the bottom it blows them all up individually.
Yeah.
Super biome, all that.
I was talking about if you click on the super biome, like what we just went through,
Okay.
if you
Where
click on see all for on top
okay,
of your super biome, how is
it
it
says
categorized?
asset.
See, that's what I'm saying. And they're not in the same order either as ours.
Okay. Okay. I
And
wouldn't
then,
have any idea, because I
and you
don't
don't have PDF or videos.
no, it says, well, I mean, I'd have to click on each one to see what it is.
So ours has a section that says PDFs, and then if you keep scrolling, it says videos.
Yes.
No,
See, it's
no,
different.
Yours isn't
See?
broken into the categories.
uh-uh.
Yeah, ours has images. When you do see all, it'll have images. And then if you keep scrolling down, you will find PDFs with the information regarding the products and then videos. They're more corporate style videos, but that's what we
Okay,
have.
well, let's see. Okay, what I notice is that, yeah, that's what it is. Mine is on the first page. I don't have to click see all to have all those little notes. Mine under the super biome on the very first scroll down, it tells me there's the websites, there's the PDF, there's the image, PDF, video. But when I click see all, it goes
Ah,
weird and I don't see all that stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
that's
only see that on the
certain.
very first page. So I don't have to do an additional click in there to see if it's a website or a PDF. It's already there.
Yeah, we can see that too on ours. Yeah, that's
But
interesting. But inside it, ours is broken down to where you can tell images, then PDFs, and then videos. But I can
I
see
can
whatever you.
kind of tell, I can see which one is an image, but I can't tell which one's a video or a PDF.
Okay. Videos are more horizontal images.
Mhm.
So
Mine are all
um,
squares, so,
okay.
it's hard to tell. Oh, there's one. There's the panel. Maybe they're all at the bottom. They're
Yeah.
all at the bottom. All the
Yeah.
videos are at the very bottom.
All right. That's good to know. Definitely give some feedback to them if you guys want feedback. I mean, they do want feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vicky, did you want to add something?
I had a question for you, Stacy, but it's totally off base of what we're talking about. And I thought maybe I could stay on afterwards and it wouldn't be on the recording. So, all
Okay. Yeah,
right.
that sounds good.
Thank you.
Lisa, did you have a question still? No?
I do, but I don't know if I want to ask it here either. It was just something you mentioned, like I had sent somebody this is where I get stumped. I don't know if this is a good time. You can tell me if it's not, but he said, I asked him what he liked best about the video, and he's like, because I could tell he watched the whole thing and everything, so that was really cool. And he's like, it looks like a good product. But I was like, okay, now what do I ask him? Like I, for some reason, just got totally stumped and said, where do I go from here? If that makes sense. Because that's all he said. And I asked him what he liked best, and he said, it looks like a good product.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether just to ask him, would you like more information, or would more information be helpful for you and your family or your wife? And I didn't know whether to do that because the other thing is we're going to try to get together. His wife's a PT and I'm an OT. So we were going to try to get together sometime. So I thought, do I just wait? But I didn't, I don't know. Just some advice. How's
Yeah.
that?
I think that's a great question that a lot of us kind of feel like, where do we go from here? And especially just kind of a vague question. And then I would just say, oh, I'm so glad it makes sense to you too. That's why we started it 26 years ago. I just love the simplicity of it. I'd love to help you guys get started. Are you wanting to do the trio or the quad or ask a question like that? And I'll send you a cart. If they have kids, you could ask, or grandkids. Do you have anyone? Do you know that the kids, one kid can get it free with your order? But just kind of assume he liked it. Let's go. Let's help him get started. Because you can keep sending more information, but what information? So you did ask, what did he like best? He was pretty vague, but he said, it sounds like a good product. Great. I'd love to help you guys get started. I knew this would make sense to you too, something sort of like that, and then just see where it goes from there. But I would try to get together sooner rather than later with his wife because now it's forefront on her mind too, if they've discussed it at all. Or you could ask, did your wife watch it? Did you guys watch that together? I'm curious what she thought too. And then maybe that would prompt him to send it to her. And then when you guys meet, you can continue that on. But if they are in a positive place and they're not bringing up any objections, I just move to, okay, excellent, let's get you started. Because you can keep going down the road of another video, another video. We assume people need 23 exposures, but maybe they don't, maybe that one video was enough, but he doesn't know how to order. So you're going to have to lead him to that.
Great, thanks. Because he was at work, so I know his wife didn't watch it. And I also said to him something to the effect, because he's my new insurance guy,
Mhm.
that I appreciated the way he serviced me. So I wanted to service him. So
Yeah, that's great.
that's helpful. Thank you.
Yep, you could bring in samples to him if he's local. Take him a superfood powder or some gummies to try so he can, if you didn't already give him that, just another touch point. But I would assume, like, assume the positive and move him towards ordering. Marcia?
I just wondered, Stacy, if you ever figured out your problem from last week when you were trying to post that reel, I think it was, and it was showing up so tiny and I wondered if you ever figured out what happened there, or
No,
I didn't try it myself. So I mean to do that because I want to see if I can know what happens if I try it. But I just wondered.
totally forgot about that.
I did try to play with that a little bit, and you can, take your fingers and pinch it bigger, but I could not figure out how to get it just right, just by clicking the video.
And did it distort the image at all when you did that? Like the writing? That's what I
Some
see.
of the writing was not, in the frame.
Yeah. I totally forgot to go back to it. And I did look in the links. You can send a link to the
That's what,
page, like the Healthy Starts page on your website, but that's where they would fill in their name and information. You cannot share a cart, not that I can see. If you guys see something different, but you're sharing the link to that page, and it does link to your page, but it's not an actual cart. I had a customer that came back. She was a customer under one of my partners years ago, guys, like 6 years ago, maybe. And she reached out to the partner who's now my customer and said, I'm ready to get back on Juice Plus. And so I must have talked to her at some point because when I got on the phone with her, she seemed like she knew me very well. And I was like, I don't remember her at all. But just has been through some really terrible things, and just to listen to her and just hold some space that wouldn't have happened on a text message. And so once I got her cell phone, I asked her, can you hop on the phone? I just wanted to see like why she had canceled, what she was wanting to get started with. I think she ordered just the fruits and veggies last time, but I wasn't going to let her do just the fruit and veggies, not with all the stress that she's under. Like she's at least needs the berries as well. So she did order the trio. So I just assume with the, I mentioned it's what, like 83 cents more a day to do the berries and grapes, and just wanting to help her reduce that inflammation and that sort of thing. So much more can get done on the phone, and I know that that conversation is going to matter to her, and that will help carry her forward as on her customer journey as well.
mhm.
All right. Anything else, guys? No? All right. Let me stop recording.